Hello and welcome to ProtoSpeed tutorials. In this tutorial we are going to teach you about putting the supports on the whole locket set comprising of pendants and the earrings in such a way that they could be printed together and casted together efficiently. Secondly, again, we are going to use the supports as sprues as well, as we have been teaching in the earlier tutorials. And thirdly, in between the tutorial, we are going to tell you some tips and tricks. And number four, as we always do, we are going to give you this design for free. So you can learn, analyze how we have put the supports, and you can print it yourself and check the results. So let's get started with the tutorial. First, we need to adjust our jewelry pieces like this. In this case, our earring and our pendant. Then we are going to draw an end-to-end curve. Then we are going to adjust it because there is a lot of unnecessary space. Because as much space you leave, you need to draw supports and sprues from this curve. So we have to be sure that there is not too much space, but not too little, because we have to clean this pipe and sprues afterwards. So this is how we are going to adjust it through control points. Be sure that it's round, perfectly round, because then we are going to have problems when we are going to give it a gauge or we are going to pipe it. Then we need to align this curve with our jewelry piece. A little adjustment here. Little here. Then on the other side. Now the curve looks fine. Now we are going to give it a gauge, or we are going to pipe it. Now let's give it gauge. Let's say around 2 mm diameter. Now you can see that the end of the pipe is penetrating in the jewelry too much. We don't need to penetrate it too much because we have to clean it afterwards after casting. So we are going to adjust this pipe a little so it doesn't penetrate too much. We need to make sure that it penetrates enough to act as a support, also to act as a perfect sprue. A little more perhaps. We are just simply rescaling it using the rescale command. Now the pipe looks fine. Let's draw additional sprues or supports, as you may consider them. A single curve from the hook, and then let's pipe it 1.1. But we need to adjust it. It seems that it's not aligned from the bottom, but that's okay. We are going to adjust our pipe, simply reorient it and resize it to connect to the hook. Then with the air ring, another curve, let's give it a gauge 1.1. Then again, let's reorient and then resize if necessary. Looks good. Now from this side, let's connect it to the sprue we drawed earlier. Again, give it gauge. Start diameter is 0.7. The end diameter is around 0.8 would be sufficient. Again, reorient and resize. Okay, we will reorient it from the bottom. Basically, you get the main idea behind this approach. Now it's just sort of a common sense from here. A little reorientation to make sure that it is perfectly connected. Now let's get on with our pendant. Giving it gauge 0.7 and 1.1. If you think that you need to give more gauge or make your sprue thicker, that's perfectly okay. So we have simply mirrored it. Then we are going to adjust it from the other side. A little shortcut. Now again, readjusting and reorientating. And little more penetrated. A little more reorientation to make this sit on the main pipe or sprue. Now let's go on with our secondary ring. Again, readjusting and reorienting. I may be saying the word wrong. Reorienting. Forgive me here a little bit. All right. Now the hook is done. You know, The gauge of the sprues are dependent upon the size, the height of it, because as we know, the gold has to run through it as well. It's needed to be printed. So as the height increases, the support loses its strength. So we need to keep uh, these pointers in mind while drawing sprues. Now from here it's simply a mesh. You can basically as many sprues as you require and connect them with each other. Uh, the main idea is that all the sprues should be connected to the jewelry piece and the main pipe. Little adjustment here. A little reorienting. Looks good. Let's double check all of our sprues. Hmm. A little more connection in between. Because we need to be sure that the casting doesn't come short from any side. So we are going to connect these jewelry pieces in a way that we can easily clean them later on. After drawing a pipe, you can adjust it uh, as differently as you want. This is the beauty of Rhino or Matrix, if you know all the tools. But here we are using simple commands like rescaling, curves, pipes, and mirror, all of the basic commands basically. A little more adjusting required. So now we need to connect another earring with the main pendant, same way we have done earlier. 0.5. And again we are going to readjust it, reorient it, and maybe rescale it. We are almost done here. Yeah, let's connect it from below as well. The more sprues, the better. Again, reorient, readjust, rescale. Now we need to start making the main supports because as it is printing vertically, it would require a little more strength to avoid vibrations. So here we are going to draw a curve. This will act as a main support. Let's pipe it, and it's going to be a little thicker. 1 and 2. We need to see the penetration. Let's again, we are going to penetrate and put it in such a way that it's easy to clean later on. And this looks okay. And we are going to simply mirror it to the earring, copy it to the earring and adjust it to the earring. Again, check the penetration. Now copy it to the other earring. And adjust. Again, I need to stress on a point that the main supports has to be thicker because it is printing right from the bottom, and as a piece is vertical and as height, we need to be sure it has appropriate gauge so it doesn't become weak as it is printing. So let's readjust it, rescale it. And we have covered we have mostly covered with all the jewelry pieces with the main supports. Now let's start giving the support. Now let's start giving the pipe the main supports. And the supports of the pipe needs to be much stronger as the whole piece is going to print on them. Simply copy these supports and later on we are going to cut it to level it. I think we are done with the main supports. That would be enough. You can add more depending upon the type of printer you are using. Let's draw a box here now. So we can simply subtract it to make all the supports on the same level. Let's convert it into a rectangle. You can draw a rectangle directly as well, as it is convenient. And now we are going to simply apply the difference, and these supports are on the same level. And now the piece is ready to be printed. But make sure that you delete all the curves when you are done. To get access to the giveaway, you can find the link, Dropbox link in the description. You can click it and download the design. Thank you for staying with us. We are going to come back with more tutorials and more free giveaway designs. Thank you and happy printing.